Welcome to the virtual training tutorial for Prestige Fitness. Virtual training is an amazing tool for us to not only be able to touch clients that are not able to come into the club for various reasons, but to train them when they're away on vacation or other reasons altogether. Not only will this tutorial help you to be as successful as you possibly can at virtual training, but it'll also help prepare you for potential things that you didn't think about. So let's get started. To start things off, we need a modern day cell phone, something that has a front-facing camera, whether it be Android, Apple, or anything in between. We need something that has that camera, so that way not only can we see ourselves demonstrating our form, but most importantly, the clients being able to see us as well. A tablet is also optional. You can utilize one of these guys, again, whether it be Android or Apple, whichever the case may be, again, needing a front-facing camera, and last but not least, a laptop and or desktop and cameras too. Next, we need a tripod, something to hold your phone or an iPad, or if you're going the laptop desktop route, you need something to be able to move the camera around on a fly. So when you're demonstrating exercises, you can move your camera from vertical to horizontal or to move it around the room so that way your client can see all the movement patterns and things that you're doing. Appearance and attire will be important. You want to make sure that you didn't just roll out of bed and you are looking presentable. Hair's nice, you look good, and you're wearing your Prestige Fitness shirt. Do not, oh my God! What the hell was that? Don't do that, don't! As we are doing virtual training, we need to make sure that our background is also clean and appropriate. No dirty clothes or wonky couches that are all messy and disheveled. Preferably something plain like just a wall, and make sure that the environment is also quiet. Nothing like that. Definitely. Now let's talk about picture clarity. Make sure you're doing all of your virtual training in brightly lit rooms, much like this one. You want to make sure that your clients can see all the movement patterns you're doing. Avoid rooms that are completely dark or dimly lit because the front-facing camera doesn't work well, or you're spotlighting yourself with a flashlight like you're going to tell a campfire story. Not good. An element of virtual training you need to consider is internet. Make sure you have a good Wi-Fi connection. That way you're not burning through all of your data, because that can be really expensive. Blah. Now, the next items are optional. They're not absolutely necessary. However, they will make your life exponentially easier, like a 2.4 amp wall charger. So that way you can keep your device charged, especially if you're doing a lot of virtual training sessions. They will be taxing on your device's battery. Next up on the list is an extra long cable in order to charge your device. It also allows you to maneuver your device around, so that way if you need to change locations, so that way your client can see your movement pattern, you're able to. Lastly would be some sort of headphones. That way your clients can hear you clearly. Headphones will typically drown out any type of background noise, and at the same time too, you can hear your clients clearly as well. Now that we know that you have the necessary components to do virtual training, what about our client? So now these are going to be questions to ask your client, so that way we could be as prepared and as successful as we can when it comes to training them. Now let's start with the first question. What device will you be using? Will you be using a cell phone? Will you be using a tablet? Or will you be using a laptop or PC? This will be important when it comes to knowing the mobility of that device and how your client is able to move things around so you can see them better. Question number 2. How much space do they have? Now, when we're talking about space, they probably have in mind a specific designated area that they would like to work out, which is probably a decent size. But now they're not taking into account is how the camera sees them. They need to be probably at least 6 feet away from the camera so we can see all the movement patterns they're doing. If they can't achieve a perfect 6 feet away from the camera, that is okay. Don't stress. But it will take some maneuvering of the camera to be able to see specific parts of their body to make sure their form is on point. Question number 3. What is their preferred platform for communication? FaceTime, Skype, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Instagram Direct Messenger, Google Duo, Zoom, House Party, Hangouts, WeChat, Face Camera of Doom! The moral of the story is there's like 5 million of them. Maybe not that many, but there's a lot. Find which one your client is comfortable with and go with that. You may run across a client that has never video chatted before, and that is okay. Have them use an application that you are familiar with. That way you can talk them through the ins and outs of that application and installing it onto whichever device that they want to use. Now, the next set of questions are going to be really important for you as the trainer to keep track and have on hand every single time you do a virtual training session with this client, because this is going to be emergency contact information. So first off, we want to know, where do they live? What is the address? Because God forbid if anything were to happen, we need to know where to send the ambulance to. Another vital piece of information is, do they live by themselves or do they live with others? And if they do live with others, getting that person's name and number as an emergency contact would be fantastic just in case. Now, the next question we are also going to keep with us every time we do a session with this client is our inventory sheet. What type of fitness equipment they may have in their home, whether it be dumbbells, mats, jump ropes. These are all things that we want to know what they have at any given point in time, so that we're not always asking them because it's just plain unprofessional. If they are limited in fitness equipment or have none, that is okay. Have them take you through a virtual tour of maybe their pantry or workshop and look for things you can load with. Things like cans of soup or even like a hammer or... You wrote that down? Really? Oh, 'cause the sad face makes it all better. Now, as a personal trainer, we very well know that it is incredibly important for our clients to be able to see our demonstrations so they know what the perfect movement pattern looks like. So this is where our setup is going to come into play. Let's take this goofy guy right here. From here, we're measuring out what it would be like to have about 6 feet in front of us. From here, we should be able to see the full body. And being about 6 feet away from the camera will allow you to do a wide variety of different movement patterns. From squats, to burpees, to lunges, to push-ups, you should be able to see almost all of those movements. And if for some reason you can't, that's where the tripod comes in, to be able to maneuver the camera around, move it from horizontal to vertical to achieve what you need your client to see at that given point in time. An element of virtual training that works incredibly well is environmental cueing. It's basically utilizing things in your client's home to have them face a direction that you want as they're doing all the exercises you want them to do. We're going to use this goofy guy again, and I'm going to give you guys an example. Okay, let's begin. Start by facing the toilet paper and doing a body weight squat. Oh, so good. Now turn to the best wall ever and do a dumbbell curl and press. Oh yeah. Now face the camera and do body weight lunges. Now face your snuggle surface animal and give it a big hug. Anyway, moral of the story is utilize the environment of your client's home to have them face the direction you want. Like have them face the fireplace to do lunges so you can see them from the side. Or have them face the camera so you can see other movement patterns. That way you can see them from different angles and you don't have to confuse yourselves with up, down, left, right, and all that jazz. So that way everybody's on the same page on where they should be facing. Especially now, because we're not present in person, we need to take in consideration client safety and care. So, as you're working with your client, making sure that they stay hydrated, plan designated water breaks for that client, and also implement a perceived exertion scale. Perceived exertion, hence the name, will be different for everyone. On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your client feeling? 1. They're feeling great. They can keep working out till the sun goes down. It is awesome. They're feeling fantastic. 5. They're definitely getting worked. They're feeling it, but they can still push through and they're feeling awesome. 10. You push them way too hard. Tailor it back because we're in the danger zone. Oh. We never want our clients out of 10, especially because it's not safe because we're not there. We're taking the proper safety precautions to make sure that everything is good. However, there are things that are outside our control, so never push a client to that extent. Now, we also want to make sure we're checking in and making sure they're not feeling nauseous and also making sure they're not feeling lightheaded. Tailor the workouts accordingly. Constant communication. And lastly, allot yourself 5 to 10 minutes post-session and ask your client how they're doing, especially if they haven't had a whole lot of outside interaction. Check in with them. Make sure they're doing okay. Thank you for watching the virtual training video, and keep doing what you do best, changing lives.